This is an old Nakamichi bx2 I picked up on a boot fair a couple of years ago, and it's been sitting in the loft. It needs a few parts, as you can see. It's got a couple of front panels missing, switches missing. It's got the record mute switch missing, and the fast and rewind covers of the switches missing. Apart from that, it works okay. The belts seem okay. I'm just doing an alignment on it at the moment, setting the record pack levels, injecting a 315 Hz tone from a signal generator into the record, and then just checking the playback levels. I've done it on the SA tapes, TDK SA tapes, and they play back more or less spot on, considering the tapes are pretty sort of 10-15 years old. It's quite a good cassette deck, the Nakamichi bx2. It's certainly not one of their better cassette decks, and there are a lot better Japanese cassette decks on the market now. This is a 1982-83 version, I should think, from memory. I can't remember exactly. Nakamichi obviously are sort of known as the Rolls-Royce of cassette decks. And the front panel, I've loved the front panel. It's just sort of like something special about them. It's almost retro, but they're just so classy looking. Even the LED meters, the peak meters are nice. Everything looks and feels when you're operating it really nice. Yeah, as I say, the performance and the playback performance is very good. If the ASMA is set right for a pre-recorded tape or a tape you've recorded on the machine, it's very good. But record levels weren't recording of the actual machine was never that great. It was always known to be a bit of a sort of a machine that was trying to push the limits of tape technology by altering the bias to make the records settings record frequency response go up to sort of 20 kilohertz, which was really a bit unnecessary, but it sacrificed so much in the mid-range. They sacrificed maximum output level of even sort of very basic machines could outperform this machine on maximum output levels on sort of like a chrome tape. It could barely achieve sort of plus 2 dB without sort of quite severe distortion, really mainly because they altered the bias to try and get the top end frequency response. It's a two-head machine. This is their very budget entry level machine. It's pretty basic inside as well. If you look at it, it's a bit of a rat's nest of bloody cables and things, which is, I must admit, when I opened it up I was a bit disappointed. I thought, it'd be nicely laid out, none of this. I hate all these cables in audio stuff. I just think it's prone to crosstalk and sort of noise, but look at that, it's a real rat's nest of bloody cabling inside. There are some nice features. I like the way all the sort of the pots are all laid out, and circuit boards obviously been laid out to sort of keep left and right. Obviously left and right, so there's left and right. Everything caps, everything are left and right. Everything sort of mirror image of everything. You've got the bias and playback record level pots all in a line, nicely organised. That's good. These transistors in here all in a line. It's quite nicely organised, but they chuck all this shit inside. It's just ridiculous. It's the power supply side, pretty basic power supply, sort of very basic smoothing, and then a linear regulator on the output to supply. That looks like the oscillator for the array's head. It's got Dolby B and Dolby C noise reduction. It hasn't got the HX Pro, and it's also it hasn't got automatic tape select, so you have to select each time what tape you're using with the select switches on the front. So you've got normal, metal, chrome and metal, and then you've got the equalizer for playback, so that's only needed when you're playing back. Recording, as long as you have this one selected correctly, it doesn't matter, that's the playback one. You've got a multiplex filter which puts in a 19 kHz trap to stop the 19 kHz of the FM signal getting through and disrupting the Dolby noise reduction. I never use Dolby noise reduction because in past experience I found that if you use Dolby noise reduction it works fine the first time you record, record it and then you play it back. But as the tapes deteriorate very slightly, all your levels become out, and the compression and decompression algorithms, or what they are, make the sound all churny and sound like a compressed MP3 file. So I always record without Dolby noise reduction. And yeah, as I say, two head machine, very basic outputs. You've got this is your output levels of your machine. Presently the machine's recording from the signal generator, so that's your output levels fed back into the amplifier and running up here. Record levels here, you've got a balance adjustment here. Pretty basic machine really, but I like it. I can't help thinking about all this mess inside. I just think that they could have made a bit more effort than sorting all this out. They could have at least, I don't know, tied it to the side of the chassis and so it looked like a plate of bloody spaghetti inside. But this is the bx2, and I hope you enjoyed my sort of rundown of it. I wouldn't buy one.